You ever pour your life savings into a place just to realize you bought a front row seat to someone else's war? Yeah, that happened. See, when I first cut through the trees on that patch of wild Carolina land, 7 acres, all mine, I thought I was chasing peace, not a fight. But let me back up a sec. Because the second I poured that concrete driveway, I had no idea I'd stepped straight into a land grab chess match with the most stubborn HOA president you could ever imagine. So, my name's Alan Ridley, geodetic engineer, means I draw straight lines for a living, except this time the crooked, rocky strip was all mine. The old farmer who owned it before me had left every deed and boundary so airtight I could sleep easy, right? County stamp on every permit, my survey maps need as. You please. The plan was simple, a little two-lane driveway, nothing fancy, just a link between my porch and County Route 9. But in my world, nothing stays simple for long. By the third day, the smell of wet cement had already become my new favorite cologne. I'm standing there, just admiring the smooth surface, already planning where to stick the mailbox, when up rolls a yellow tractor, definitely not one of mine, and behind it, a black SUV that screamed trouble before the door even opened. Out steps this woman, blonde bob, pastel blazer, sunglasses sharp enough to slice bread, clipboard clutched like she's leading a crusade. Who authorized this construction? She snaps. I did. Alan Ridley, owner. Her smile could sour milk. Turns out, she's Karen Larrowe, queen bee of the Silver Pines HOA. And in her universe, I'm the invader. She waves a color printout at me, green lines and arrows all over it, calls it a protected buffer zone, tells me I'm trespassing, destroying habitats, and oh yeah, I'll be fined $87,000 for damages. I laugh because the thing's clearly a fake. No scale, no official anything. She just shrugs. It's enough for enforcement and promises legal action if I don't stop, barking orders at her crew like she owns the trees. Honestly, part of me wanted to just brush her off. But I know how quickly a mess like this can become a nightmare, so I called off the crew and marched down to the county offices. The clerk there confirmed what I already knew. My permits were ironclad, the HOA line nowhere near my land. Don't let them push you around, she said. But the next morning, I wake up to find tire tracks across my fresh driveway, and before I can even finish my coffee, an orange bulldozer, again, not mine, comes barreling up the path, tearing straight into my new concrete. Karen's right there, perched beside the chaos, barking that I'm still trespassing, waving her clipboard like a sword. I start filming, threaten to call the sheriff, but her guys keep ripping up the work until the squad car finally rolls in. Deputy Morales, looking like he's seen it all, checks everyone's paperwork. Karen shoves her official HOA docs at him, and he just deadpants. Ma'am, this is a home computer printout. Got a county seal. She's got nothing. I show him my deed, the Rayall County permits. Morales shrugs, tells her to pack up, and warns me to lawyer up, because HOA disputes get ugly. Now, if this was just a story about an annoying neighbor, it'd end there. But Karen wasn't done. Over the next few days, she doubled down. Propaganda flyers, emergency board meetings, even local news stories painting me as an eco-villain. Anonymous letters started showing up in my mailbox. Threats, insults, one telling me, "We know where you live," which was pretty obvious, considering it was my land they were fighting over. Here's where the twist comes in. My lawyer Jessica digs into Karen's past, and we discover a buried file from Georgia. Different HOA, same woman, same map forging scheme. Turns out, Karen had a history of drawing fake boundaries, trying to annex land that didn't belong to her. With that in my back pocket, and the county's own surveyor confirming my road was well inside my property, we took everything, photos, video, even a USB drive from a former HOA contractor, to the sheriff and the courthouse. But Karen? She only got more desperate. One night, the cameras I'd set up caught her and her crew sneaking in with a backhoe, headlights off, trying to dig up what was left of my driveway, violating a court order, clear as day. This time, Morales didn't just tell them to leave. He arrested Karen on the spot, with criminal destruction of property tacked on for good measure. You'd think that would scare off the rest of them, but the real finale played out in court, under the flickering fluorescent lights of the Greenville County courthouse. Jessica laid out our case. Real maps, real permits, emails showing Karen's expansion plan, and a parade of evidence that made it clear her buffer zone was pure fiction. Karen's own environmental consultant turned out to be a guy with a marketing degree and a fake resume. The verdict hit like thunder. The judge found Karen and her HOA guilty, not just civil damages, but outright fraud, destruction, and contempt of court. The sentence? 12 years for Karen, millions in damages, and Silver Pines HOA dissolved forever. The sound in that courtroom wasn't applause, it was shock. The queen had lost her crown, and the whole house of cards collapsed. I can't say it felt like victory, not at first. The neighbors were split, some sending pie and apologies, others glaring at me as the county contractors came to rebuild the road. But as the noise faded, as the forest swallowed up the shouts and trucks and drama, I finally got what I came for, peace. Earned, not just bought. Even the old HOA office got bulldozed, turned into a park, and they named the new lane after me. Ridley Drive, not official, but the construction crew joked about it every time they saw me. Some nights I walked that road, feeling the weight of every step, every battle fought to keep what was mine. Sometimes I wonder if it was all worth it, but then I remember the silence, the air humming with life instead of lawsuits. And I realize some roads lead to home, but the best ones? They make you fight for every inch. Now, what do you think? Did justice win? Or is there always another Karen waiting in the woods? Drop your take below, and let's see where the next road leads. You know, after the courtroom emptied and all the papers were signed, you'd think I'd feel triumphant, maybe walk out of there pumping my fist, ready to celebrate. But honestly, all I felt was drained, like someone had pulled the plug and let all the tension leak out at once. I drove home in silence, windows down, letting the wind scrub away what was left of those courtroom lights and sharp voices echoing in my head. But real life? It doesn't just snap back to normal because a judge bangs a gavel. Silver Pines fell apart in slow motion. The county posted those neon orange signs on the gates, property under court control, while old neighbors gathered in little knots, whispering, trying to figure out who they'd become without their queen bee bossing them around. Some cursed my name, sure, but more than a few stopped by my porch, pie in hand or hat in hand, admitting they'd felt trapped too. Funny how a little sunlight makes people remember how to be neighbors again. Meanwhile, Karen's empire just unraveled. Realtors flooded the listings, motivated seller, bring all offers, like the whole neighborhood was suddenly up for grabs. The old guard faded away, but new faces appeared, curious, friendlier, not so quick to judge. The county bulldozed the HOA office, put up a playground, and even named the winding road to my house, Ridley Drive. That wasn't my idea, but every time I pass that sign, I can't help but shake my head at how quickly a battle line turns into just another street on a map. Some things didn't change overnight. The first few weeks, I caught myself flinching at every strange car, expecting the next round of sabotage or threats, but it never came. Peace is a weird feeling when you've had months of chaos. Sometimes I'd walk the new driveway, smooth, pale, not a single crack, and I'd listen to the wind move through the trees, just breathing, letting my pulse slow down. That's when I knew I hadn't just protected my land. I'd reclaimed my own sanity. There was one night, late September, when the last twist finally landed. Got a letter, no name, just a scribble from Columbia Correctional. You poured concrete over everything I built. That's all it said. I tossed it into the fire pit and watched it burn, orange flames licking the paper until it was nothing but ash. Whatever Karen tried to create with lies and fear, it was gone, buried under the same road she tried to destroy. The best part, though, came from the folks I never expected. Carl, the guy who first recorded those board meetings for me, stopped by with his daughter one afternoon, hauling a bag of tools. Thought you might need a hand fixing that old shed, he said, like nothing unusual had ever happened. We spent the day hammering and laughing, swapping stories. Turns out, half the neighborhood felt relieved. No more fines for mailbox colors, no more nasty grams about grass length, just people looking out for each other again. Maybe that's the real victory no judge can. Right into a verdict. I guess the wildest thing is how fast the world moves on. By the time winter crept in, Silver Pines was just another set of houses on a quiet stretch of county land. The news stories died down, my inbox stopped buzzing, and even the die-hard HOA loyalists eventually gave up the fight. Every so often I'd see one of them driving out, U-Haul bouncing behind them, and I'd wish them well from my porch. No hard feelings, at least not from me. Sometimes, I'd sit outside as dusk settled, listening to the night birds and the wind rattling the branches. Every so often a car would slow at the entrance, maybe to gawk, maybe just lost, but I didn't mind anymore. The shadows stretched long and golden across Ridley Drive, and I'd just smile, thinking about everything that road had cost me and everything it gave back. Because, in the end, it was never just about concrete and rebar. It was about boundaries, the kind you draw on. A map and the kind you draw in your heart. Standing up for what's yours, even when it means going toe-to-toe with someone who plays dirty. Maybe especially then, because that's how you prove to yourself and everyone watching that justice still matters. That one stubborn voice can still shake loose the whole rotten structure. So now, when people ask if I'd do it all again, fight the HOA, face down threats, stand in courtrooms for months, I don't hesitate. I'd walk every inch of that rough road again, even if it leads through hell, because some places are worth fighting for. Some peace you have to earn, one hard mile at a time. That's my story, at least for now. Who knows what tomorrow brings, right? Maybe another battle, maybe a fresh start. All I know is, this patch of Carolina ground finally feels like home, and as long as I'm here, nobody's taking it away again. But hey, what about you? Ever had to stand your ground when everyone said you should? Give up? Did justice win? Or did it just make things messy, eh? Go ahead, share your stories down below. Let's see who else has walked a road like mine. Because sometimes, that's how real change starts, with one person who refuses to back down.